The Pro Tour in Amsterdam has just finished this weekend, but now we get to see the after effects of what's been constructed and played at the Pro Tour. This has led to a card that we are going to discuss today, shooting up over 1,500%. And what would a video like this be without discussing Nadu, the Winged Wisdom? Nadu is basically everywhere, and it's something we need to talk about. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today. A reminder, if you enjoy the Moxman, you want to see more of me, all you need to do is like and subscribe to the channel, turn on that notification bell, and you'll see me every single day. So, Nadu, the Winged Wisdom. Well, Amsterdam Pro Tour saw this thing in like a whole bunch of decks. We'll get to that. But there's also a card we need to talk about before we get to Nadu, and that's because this card shot up so much during this Pro Tour that it's something we need to talk about. Jumping up 1,500% is massive, and you have to see why this card went up and what's going on. So let's take a look at that card first, then we'll jump into Nadu before we finish things off. So the card I want to share with you guys is Suncleanser, and that's from Core Set 2019. Now, taking a closer look at the card, the average price is $5.89. That's not a spectacularly expensive card, but when you look at the monthly change of $5.45, that means this was like a 44-cent card. So what happened and where is this card going? We need to take a closer look, and you'll see this Core Set 2019 does say it's a 1/4 human cleric for 1 white and 1 generic. Nothing spectacular there, nothing to write home about. But when you look at the Suncleanser a little closer and you see the text, it says, when the Suncleanser enters a battlefield, choose 1. You can remove all counters from target creature. It can't have counters put on it for as long as Suncleanser remains on the battlefield. Or you can choose option 2. Target opponent loses all counters. That player can't get counters for as long as Suncleanser is on the battlefield. Well, it may not seem like a huge thing on the surface, but when you take a look at the card and you say to yourself, wait a second, I can stop a creature from getting counters. They can make sure that creature never gets counters as long as the Suncleanser stays on the battlefield. This is limiting the opponent's ability to do things. Stopping an opponent from getting counters, like energy, made a big difference for some of the decks people were using in the modern tournament. So this says a lot for cards like this. There's so many cards out there that you sometimes forget these old cards. Even 2019, you're still talking, what, 5 years ago? They are a solution to a problem that you didn't even know existed yet, until you get further down the line and see how jank and twisted powerful decks can become in the minds of players who build them. This is a simple solution that works, and you know it's working. You know people are interested because there are literally thousands of sales of this particular card in the last 7 days. That's huge for a card that nobody cared about up until Modern Horizons 3. And even locally, this card has sold anywhere between 50 to 100 copies, depending on the different stores, and most people tagged it out at around 60 cents. They just came and swooped and bought them all. I'm surprised the stores didn't kind of fact check it before they let it go to see, but it's done, the damage is there, and it looks like a lot of players are taking interest in investing in this card for the future. Now, the problem with investing in this card, the problem you're going to have, is the hype for this card is going to wear down. And this massive climb of 1,500%, it's not likely to hold, I'll be honest. It's likely going to drift back down to be a $2 card. It's still a far cry from the 40 cents, but it is going to fall over time because a lot of FOMO jumps in when people hear about a card that does something amazing they forgot about and could interconnect with decks that use energy or, of course, creatures counting on counters to get the job done. So it's something to keep in mind, but it lets you know out there, if you're in the world of collecting Magic as well as speculating and investing in the cards and hoping to make a big money bang off some stuff, it does happen. It can happen. You just have to have outlets to sell the card, to move it quickly, and ways to pick the card up and stay ahead of the curve of everyone else trying to do the exact same thing. But this is one of those examples I never would have seen coming. I don't look at that card, and I didn't think anything of it until I saw it jump up on a few people mentioning it to me. So very interesting, okay, guys? But we're not done yet. No. We're not done. We're not done. We're only halfway, because we got to talk about Nadu. Nadu is a problem. It's a problem for a lot of people. There's a lot of people who love the card. This Toucan Sam wannabe, there's a lot of people who enjoy using the card because it's a brand new card from Modern Horizons 3. but there are issues with what people think about this card, okay? First, let's take a look and see what we're talking about once again. Now, anyone who's been following Nadu the Winged Wisdom from Modern Horizons 3 has noticed that the price is drifting down. It had a spike around the 11th to the 15th, and it's been continuing this downward trend, and there's been people buying it on TCG Player for around the $6 mark. And you know what? I'll take this moment to shill for myself. If you're buying on TCG Player, don't forget, guys, I do have a TCG Player affiliate link. It's in the description of all my videos, so if you click on that link and make a purchase on TCG Player, I get a kickback here on the channel for prizes. I do appreciate it, guys, who take the time to do so. So let's take a closer look, because this card's less than 10 bucks. You can buy for around the $6 mark, depending on where you're purchasing. Nadu the Winged Wisdom, again, for 1 blue, 1 green, 1 generic, it's a 3/4. That's unheard of back in my old mentality of thinking about Magic, where a Savannah line was like a beast. Benelish Hero could get the job done. A 1/1, I know. Now this bird wizard has flying, but it says, creatures you control have, whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, reveal the top card of your library. If it is a land card, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand. This ability triggers only twice per turn. Very interesting, isn't it? This card is insanely powerful. And a lot of people in Amsterdam, I think there was like 62 decks, they said, that had this card inside there. It's insane to think how many copies of this card are being bought and are showing up. And what I mean by that is, when you take a look at what people are purchasing, they want to build what's successful. They want to build what other people have already done. They want to be able to experience that winning formula, that winning deck. So, as the Amsterdam Pro Tour was going on, if you took a look on things like TCG Player, your local stores, eBay, wherever you're shopping, okay? If you took a look, Card Market, you would notice Nadu was flying off the shelves. Copies of 4, continually. Copies of 2 or 3, because somebody probably opened one already or bought one somewhere else. The amount of copies that sold for this card, thousands again. Nadu wasn't even on my list last week. It's going to jump right up under the top 10 this weekend. I already know, because when I go to do those card counts, it's going to take me a long time, and there's going to be a lot of people who bought the card. People love to see what their heroes are building. And even if the winner of the Pro Tour or winners of the Pro Tour aren't your individual hero, like you don't know the person, they're not in big film. In Magic, these players are doing stuff that we don't all get the opportunity to do. They are building things that we never thought of building. They are creating things we never thought of creating, and we're impressed by them, and we want to mimic it. We want to copy it. I mean, we may want to put a little slant on it and try our own thing, but we want to get the basics down pat and maybe even refine that deck to the next level. It's very fascinating. But here's the problem with Nadu. You either love it or you hate it, from what I've seen. Because other commander decks can be paralyzed by it, which I saw this weekend. And some decks seem to be able to deal with it because they've already augmented certain cards to be able to play with it against commander games specifically. I have only seen this a couple times in my standard Friday night. It didn't stop me from pummeling them, but it had good ideas, and I'm not going to be that lucky next time, I don't believe. And I haven't played in any modern tournaments to see this thing go off, but I assume it gets even more lethal when you start adding in a whole bunch of cards from a lot of different sets. Now, here's the issue you're going to have. The more popular Nadu becomes, the more Wizards probably won't want to ban it. I'm not saying it won't get banned in Commander. The Rules Committee may deal on that, but I'm looking at it from the sales point of view of a company. This card is selling well. It is causing a chain reaction of other cards to be sold that are now spiking up in value, like the Shuko Claws and stuff. That means those cards can now be reprinted for greater value. Looking at the company perspective, I don't think they're going to ban it anytime soon. That's just me, my opinion. You'll slam some opinions down there, countermanding me or agreeing with me, but it's something I think we need to remember is that this is a company. The only problem they're going to have is if Nadu takes the field in too large a percentage every time, they will build something into an upcoming set to deal with it. Or you'll see decks specifically built to deal with Nadu. They're going to have tons of removal, tons of ways of stopping you, a lot of global effects, and things that can't be countered in case they do have to deal with that winged bird, because it will be a problem for some decks. And the anti-Nadu deck is something I hate seeing, where it's just, this is a Nadu deck, this is the anti-Nadu deck. Let's see how they do. Because it really slims down the possibilities of other decks competing. But in this case, they did it to themselves. They made a card that everyone loves or everyone hates. It's very popular, a lot of copies being sold, and a lot of energy, a lot of cash being funneled into this card right now to see how far people can take it. I want to know what you guys think. Slam some comments down in the comments section because this conversation's not done. It's just ramping up. I'd love to get people's comments down though, so if and when this ever comes to pass, we can all look back on it and go, oh, that's what I see. I told you this was going to happen. Thanks again for hanging out with me today. Don't forget, Suncleanser jumped up 1,500%. The card spiking in the markets right now is crazy after Modern Horizons 3. I'll have more cards probably later this week. You guys have a great day. Enjoy the world of Magic the Gathering. And thanks again for hanging out with me and stopping by my channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey guys, a big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons of my channel. Because of these patrons and the amazing people they are, we are able to deliver uploaded daily content for everyone on YouTube to enjoy. So whether you're a regular viewer, a patron, or a YouTube membership member, thanks again for being part of Team Moxman. Thanks again for supporting my channel, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow, of course, for another video. Have a great one. For every problem, there is a solution. Welcome back to the Ramble Jamble, and I believe that. There are so many Magic cards created now that some cards that apparently have no value can totally become broken later based on other cards created around them. I did a YouTube short where I showed Teferi the Master of Time. That card was at 50 bucks at one point. And this card drops down and becomes a $5 card. But it does let you take 2 extra turns if you can get to that ultimate, minus 10. Is that really that hard? With all the things that can put counters on and proliferate and stuff? No, it doesn't. And no, it's not. You can make it happen if you want to. I have a commander deck I'm building with that, and it can get so broken. So cards you think are useless now or outmoded can still be lethal, depending on the format and how you're building. It's a great time, man. It can be so much fun building. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for being here at the end. You know you made it this far, but we're not done yet. No. If you made it here, Necronomicon goes in the comments section. Necronomicon. Yeah! See you guys later.